What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. It's been quite a while. You might notice that we're kind of in a new area. Basically our lease was up, so it came time that we had to move, but we're here at a new garage, new location. This is kind of more of an in-between, but hopefully it will treat us well, and basically from here we end up moving into somewhere bigger or something better. Just wanted to kind of update you guys, and we got a big video today. So yeah, we are here. This is basically, you got a few of the cars behind me. And boom, we got the 240. She's looking a little rough. We actually were involved in a little accident. We were actually hit by a transport truck on the highway in a rainstorm. So we were pretty lucky to come out, you know, with the very minimal, but basically the car got a little banged up, and we still are in the process of going through insurance, so hopefully that'll turn around. But yeah, we basically got a little, well, that probably would have happened anyways, but the door is definitely caved in. And then this is from the guy's wheel or lug nuts. Honestly, most of them have just been sitting, including the 240 after the accident. But now we're about to give this thing some love in today's video. As the title will show, you probably already know what's going on with this thing, so I'm very excited. This has been a video that we've been actually working towards for maybe 4 years or 5 years of actually owning this car, so I'm quite excited. Yeah, basically ever since I've actually got this car, it was always a plan to put the manual transmission and do the whole swap. But if anybody's done this, or if anybody's kind of gone down the road of doing any kind of swap, you probably know it's just like it feels like an endless time of getting parts, unless you have just like an abundance of funds just to throw out as soon as you get the build or whatever. So it's been four years coming at least of owning this 240 behind me, and thankfully we get to actually put that work in. And I'm hoping that in 24 hours, basically tomorrow morning, we're gonna show up here, and I'm hoping within 24 hours we can get this thing running, driving, and hopefully sliding with a manual transmission in it. So we also got a big event coming next weekend, which is like a week away, in Grand Bend, and it's CSCS at Grand Bend Motorsports, which isn't too far, but it's going to be a good one. It'll be my first time track driving with a manual transmission, and I honestly can't wait. The FD is running, it's in good shape. The Z running in good shape. We got a couple cars missing from here. So actually the red FC that you guys have seen before, I sold the red FC. Hopefully it's to a good buyer. He says he's going to restore it and whatnot. But basically that gave me some funds so I could throw it at the 240 and kind of get that going. As well as I purchased another vehicle, which I will probably show you in a future video. You guys will have to stay tuned. The white FC, that's still around. I'm pretty sure you guys seen that car, and that is just parked up. We got a new daily, so I can quickly show you guys that, and maybe we'll give you some B-roll. So let's see. Yeah, so here it is. This is the new to me 2003 Volkswagen Golf TDI. So this is kind of new for me. I haven't had a German car, and I've kind of strayed away from it. I've definitely always wanted a Beamer, like as far as an E36. I've kind of strayed away from German cars, especially like an Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes. Basically these TDIs, you hear really good things about them, and you know, apparently they go forever. And specifically there's a certain motor that you want to get when you get these, and that is the ALH, and that is kind of like mine is the last year. I can't remember the first year of them, but 2003 was the last year of the ALH motor, and that is basically the sought after motor. I don't know how long they'll go and how well this one will be, but this is a manual 5-speed ALH Volkswagen TDI. So it's got 258,000 kilometers, which is, I mean, sounds high to me, but as far as a diesel, it's apparently really low. And I got the car for a decent price. Now it does need a bit of work. It's making a lot of noise with the throw-up bearing. The clutch engagement's very high up, so I feel like it's gonna need a clutch. It's stock clutch, the throw-up bearing's on the way out, so it definitely needs some work. All right, so there's a quick update on kind of everything. We're gonna go ahead and get this 240 pulled in the shop, and we're gonna start cracking. I don't know all what I'm gonna show you guys as far as like if it's just gonna be like a very thorough how-to. It definitely is gonna be a DIY manual swap on the 240. We got, I don't know if you guys can see, but we got parts on parts on parts. Definitely should be a good time, should be fun. Let's see, can we do it? Can you do it? I'm thinking we can. I've done lots of research, and again, 4 years coming, so hopefully it goes well. All right, what's up guys? So we are here, we're actually back next day. I went ahead and I took a few things out. We got the trim from the radio out. We took the trim for the shifter out. And basically I have bolted the center console here. It's just 2 screws, front 2 screws. From here, you just wanna make sure you can unplug your window switch so you don't rip that thing off, or if you got like a lighter or anything like that, and then try and kind of finesse this, finagle this out of there if we can. Light on this. I'm just gonna find it. There's just 4 bolts on the shifter, I'm pretty sure, holding us down, and I think the cable, shifter cable. So we'll have to figure out how that comes off. And then
torque,
man. Holy smokes, man. It's smacking.
good thing you got an extension on there.
Snap on, you know? Well, one good thing, none of these broke. So that's a good start, you know? Oh, there we go. I forgot we gotta go under. There's a C-clip with a little pin kind of holding. There's like a shifter linkage. All right, so yeah, we're just under here. We disconnected this little shifter linkage. It was just a cotter pin holding this in to the linkage up top. This is an S14, 95 S14. We're doing a swap on. This one's actually got a drain bolt. So we pulled the drain bolt. We're draining. And yeah, we'll let that drain for a little bit. While we're doing that, we were gonna pull the pan. I don't think we're actually gonna have to do that now, which is awesome. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start disconnecting the drive shaft. All right, so we got the drive shaft disconnected. We're gonna have to do a slight modification to the drive shaft. We'll show you that. We also got the shifter completely disconnected. Right now, we're leaving the car in neutral. I honestly have watched so many videos, but nobody talks about this, what gear. If you're leaving it in neutral, I don't know if it's gonna matter with the neutral position switch, which actually I still got connected, I think. So we will.
Oh yeah, we gotta reconnect that.
We'll disconnect that, and look at this old, gross, dusty, rusty thing. Wow, that's sick. Good progress. We got the starter out. Starter's over here now. And we got the drive shaft out. I think we told you about that. I don't know if you've seen it, but we had it all unbolted. We got it out. We got the shifter out of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we showed you guys that. That's sitting over there too. It is a disaster over here. I was gonna go into detail with what we needed to do with the drive shaft. So I didn't get a whole drive shaft. Obviously that would be ideal. But from the research I had done, I basically put together that the only difference was the front half of the drive shaft. So I actually acquired the manual front half of the drive shaft. So here we are. So again, apparently the only difference is this. You can kind of tell this one's longer at the shaft here with the U-joints, but we also have a different kind of yoke there with the cover for the automatic. So basically, I'll have to do that slight modification, change those. We already got this all unbolted, so those will come off nice and easy. And that should be done for that. We'll be able to bolt that back in with the manual trans at the end. For my research, the starter is like universal from automatic to manual, so that should work as well. Got a completely resurfaced flywheel. I don't know if I showed you guys that, but we got a nice polished, well, resurfaced flywheel. We got 7 of the trans bell housing bolts out, so I got a jack under it right now. I'm gonna try and pull the remaining bell housing bolts. Got all the transmission bell housing bolts out of the automatic transmission, so it is basically ready to come out. We got it all unplugged. Here are all the bolts. So, little update. We got, if you can see right behind me, we got a couple transmissions on the ground. So, actually, this is day 2 of the swap. So, way past 24 hours. I was kind of like being really ambitious right off the get. Like, okay, hope we can get this done in 24 hours. That did not happen. Anyways, day 2, it's actually night again. But we got this freaking hog out. Look at how big this thing is. And it weighs a lot, let me tell you. We have 3 guys here, and we were wrestling this thing off. Honestly, I don't know why it gave us such a hard time, but finally we got it off. It was getting caught up. I had to unbolt the torque converter, and once I did that, we were actually able to get it separated completely and drop down, which I'm very thankful for. We are gonna go ahead and remove the old flex plate, and then I'll probably remove the old pilot bushing, put a new rear main in, and then I'll go ahead with the new flywheel, pressure plate, clutch, all that stuff, install all that, and then we'll get to jamming this big old thing in tomorrow, most likely. That, and we got a couple holes in the firewall for the clutch pedal, so that should be able to bolt up. So I guess I'll apologize for not showing you guys kind of like a whole lot. Obviously, you know, it's kind of a big job, and with having only a couple people around at certain points in time, we gotta kind of get some work, you know, I gotta get the hands on where I need them. Obviously, if I can have someone filming, it's great, but with this big transmission, unfortunately, I needed all the hands I could have got, and yeah, basically it took 3 of us to kind of get this thing out of there. We might have been able to do it with 2, but it was definitely a nightmare. This is day 4 now. We got the pedals in, situated, cut, all done. We got the master in there, bolted up, ready to go, clutch line on. Now basically we need to do the pilot bushing, sorry. We gotta get the old one out, put the new one in. I think the auto one has like a bigger, it's like a big chunky guy. So got the tool, we're gonna try and get that out. Transmission is all ready to go on. We got the new throw out on there, the new spring, the new boot. We got the new trans mount in there. And then we're gonna be putting a B&M short throw shifter on this. So we're gonna do that hopefully when it's in the car. We might fill it from the top, we might not, but it should be easier to get in the car with no shifter linkage on it. And then we do got the drive shaft, like I told you. We did have to do a slight modification. I haven't actually like routed the line, obviously, because I don't really have the trans in, don't know exactly where I want to route it yet. But I think we're gonna kind of go back over top of the master there, or the booster there. We got our new master in, bolted up. There's a bolt down low for the clutch pedal I put in. You guys can see in here, it's a little dirty, but I finally have 3 pedals. I think that is so cool. I mean, the gap between the gas and the brake pedal seems pretty far. I did try to cut it like further over that way, but still, I want, and I guess for the boot I wanted to I wanted to put that plastic boot on there, pedal boot, so I ended up, or pedal cover, so I ended up cutting it maybe smaller. Like I could have left it bigger. I mean, this looks pretty good. I'm not upset with it, but our clutch, like it works, but obviously it doesn't work yet because like we don't have anything tied up to the master and stuff, but like it'll press in, it'll come back when you need it. And then there's this box. I'm just gonna put it up there. I'm gonna zip tie it kind of a little more up and out of the way, and hopefully I don't run into that issue. But yeah, these two boxes were attached to basically in front of where you put the clutch pedal. So I don't know if it's just strictly automatic stuff. Maybe in the future we can find out, we can maybe delete that stuff, but for now I'm just gonna kind of try and leave most of the wiring and stuff how it is. Whew. Almost there. All right guys, more progress. So I think I showed you guys the pedals. I think I was ready to pull out the pilot bearing or pilot bushing. Another tool that ended up pulling the bushing out. It was ended up looking like this, and it ended up working out really, really well. It pulled out really easy. This is what it looked like. This is the other one, so quite a bit smaller. So we did push in the new pilot bushing. There's a new rear main behind there, and the flywheel is all resurfaced and torqued down. We're gonna spray it down with some brake clean it up, wipe it down once. So this has been sitting on my shelf for quite a while, and yeah, I didn't know what clutch to go with. Honestly, my funds were running pretty low because all this adds up really quick, but I ended up going with just a Rock Auto 6-puck clutch. It is an Impact. I don't know if anyone has ran these clutches before for 240. This is just a stock 240. So I was gonna honestly I was ready to install a used clutch that I had just kind of laying around, trying to get it going, I guess, just getting it manual and driving manual. But I figured obviously doing all this work, you don't wanna have a clutch go on the first weekend or something like that. So I ended up purchasing this clutch. I think it was can't remember the exact price, but maybe at most 500. I think it was closer to 350, and that is Canadian, and that's probably to my door. But this will be my first 6-puck clutch. I've always kind of ran like an organic plate, or maybe like a stage 1 with like a, I don't know, maybe they're ceramic materials, but they're still the full plate. So this is a 6-puck. That will be different. They offered a stiffer pressure plate, which I did not opt for. I was looking for, obviously driving my sim all the time is a very light clutch. So I was looking for a similar experience to that, and I don't want to be just like, every time I got a clutch kick, I'm like pushed back in the seat. So I don't know how this will be. Obviously we'll find out, but this will be a good tester, and I can give you guys kind of like a post review later in maybe a future video on what I think of. I'm holding up the whole thing. On what I think of this clutch. So again, 6-puck Impact off Rock Auto, maybe at most $500 Canadian. I think it was closer to $350. Boom! Voila! So if this looks a little off, it's because this is just gonna sit. When we put a couple of bullets in it, it'll sit. Oh my god! It'll sit up like this. So, probably the starter will hold that up or something. But yeah, frick yeah! I'm ready to jam that transmission in there. Basically, I'm waiting on a hand, but I'm not really gonna wait around too long. So if I get, either I'm gonna try how we took down the other one with just the jack and a piece of wood, or so this thing. Yeah, unless someone gets here within like 20 minutes, I'm probably gonna start jamming. So maybe I can get this up. Obviously, like, look at the size difference, man. Holy shit, man. Boom. Yeah, it's on its side, but still. Like, Jesus, man, that's actually crazy. So I wonder if it's gonna be a weight reduction. Yeah, we added a clutch pedal. Yeah, we added like a few things, but like with all that we take off, I think it's gonna like save some weight, and I think with the 5-speed it's gonna be like a heavier car, so it'll be interesting. All right, well, I tried. Unfortunately, it won, I guess. I can't get it in there. I got it on the jack, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Once someone else gets here, we will fire that thing in there. All right, guys, so we got a big update here. Transmission is finally in the car. Now, it's not bolted up, but it is in the car. We stabbed that transmission. We got that thing right up against the engine, and I can't be more excited. I want to thank everybody who's came out to give me a hand so far, because honestly, I couldn't be doing it without them. Like, look at this. Couldn't do it without them, you know what I mean? But, I don't know who that was. But, yeah, anyways, we will get the rest of this buttoned up tonight. Hopefully tomorrow someone can come and we can get that clutch bled. Honestly, it took 3 of us to get this thing in there. Few people were around, thankfully, and the energy was high, and we actually got this thing all tight. Let me see what I can do. There we go, guys. There is a manual transmission. Bolt it up, put the mount back on, get the drive shaft in. Wow, man. Put that slave on, couple minor things, honestly, and then bleed it and find out if all this work paid off or if it was for nothing or what. I'm gonna pray that after calling in all these favors, I guess tomorrow will be 5 days worth of work. Hopefully it'll be worth it. Hopefully this weekend I'll be there and treading. We're on the chopping board. All right, day 5, I think. Crazy update. Got the trans in. I think I showed you guys that last night. Boom. We got it all bolted up. We got the starter on. The transmission harness, what's left of it, just routed. Basically, we just got the starter plugged in, our O2 sensor that was kind of off of that harness, and there's going to be a reverse light switch on there that we're going to wire up in the future. Probably we won't have time to get to it. And then we have a speed sensor that we're missing. Past that, there's just the parking switch, parking neutral switch or something like that, neutral safety switch, something like that. And that'll be kind of more on the inside of the cabin. I'll be pulling off, most likely, the plugs off of here that was plugged into the car, and then I'll be just looping a couple of those wires, and then hopefully that'll allow me to get the key in and out, and that won't be an issue either. So then I'm just hoping the car starts, runs, drives, drifts, and then I can get through the weekend and then address the stuff in the future. So right now we're basically gonna go ahead, we're gonna try and get the drive shaft mounted. All right, guys, another update here. So it's been quite a while. It's actually been like maybe a week and a half, I guess. Like the drift event happened, car's still on stands, as you can see behind me. Unfortunately, the drive shaft issue we could not resolve in time. I was super ambitious trying to get this thing going, and I really thought I could, but unfortunately just the slightest little mishap, and I wasn't able to get it resolved in time. As you guys can see, I did have like a pile of drive shafts and none of them worked, but I think I do have a lead on another like it's supposed to be another actual ABS drive shaft, so hopefully that'll be the one I actually need. I'm just kind of a little strapped right now, so we're just waiting for everything to line up, and it's a little far away, so I gotta go out there and pick it up too. But once we do have that, we'll be moving forward with the project, which hopefully won't be too far in the future, but we are having a slight delay here. Yeah, so honestly, not much is left. Once we do strap up that drive shaft, then basically we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna fill the transmission with fluid. We're gonna put on our B&M short throw shifter, which I got right here. All right, guys, so it's been about 2 weeks probably since we started this, and unfortunately, the shop is in shambles. The 240 is still on stands, and unfortunately, we did not make it to the drift event to drive. So where we are at, I'm just running in circles, driving 5 hours, trying to find a shaft. I get there, it's the same thing. I'm pulling out my hair. I really don't know what the situation is. And I came here at 11 o'clock at night because I'm like, this has to be it. I'm 98% sure. Long story short, after all this time, what do we got? We got this dusk shield ring that sits in the back of the tranny that I just ended up knocking out, and the drive shaft fits perfectly. So it's actually crazy that after all this, it's just this stupid ring. And this is what made me technically not get to the event. Who knows? I mean, we might, praying that we don't run into more issues. Obviously we can, but all right guys, so huge progress. We now have a drive shaft in officially. Let me show you. All right, so we got the transmission bolted up and the drive shaft all the way down, right to the diff. I couldn't be more stoked. It's all bolted up. The car has a drive shaft in it. The whole drive line is all together. All we have to do now is I'm gonna fill it with fluid. MT90 is the best. You wanna go with the GL4. Apparently GL5 is too hard on the brass synchros. And yeah, it's a 7590, I believe. But yeah, Redline MT90, that's what we're using here. And again, it calls for 2.5 quarts, so about 2.4 liters, 2.5 quarts. We've got 3 of these, so we'll go ahead, we'll dump the first 2 in, and then we'll just triple check with the about half of the third one. Ideally, you'd want to be pulling your fill plug and then, you know, waiting till it kind of drips out after you fill it. This transmission's fill plug was fairly stripped. I did have the drain plug out, so we got to drain it properly, but the fill plug, unfortunately, is pretty stripped. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fill it up through the shifter and hopefully, and we'll hope for the best. After we fill that up, we're gonna bolt up our shifter and let's get to it. Oh yeah, we got it. I don't know if you guys heard that. It was beautiful. Yeah, well guys, I think I'm just gonna drill some holes so that I have some access points, because this is just not ideal, honestly. Alright guys, so we're just gonna end up drilling these holes. I just, honestly, for the future, if we need to take the shifter off or anything like that, it'll be easier. Just like a little access port, but I don't really feel like dropping the transmission or anything after all we've gone through, so. Alright guys, so another update here. We finally got the shifter in. It was a little bit of a mess around. Again, nobody tells you the little things, right? So obviously the shifter is a lot longer, and getting it in there, maybe when you have the trans out, which would have been fine, but I knew my fill plug was stuck, so I knew I had to fill it through here, and you're only going to be able to fill it when it's in the car with the drive shaft on, etc. So now we could have dropped the tranny maybe and got a little bit of clearance, but we literally didn't have much room to work with, because you can see here, like in between the shifter and here, you have to fit like one of these bolts, which is a good 1.5 inches. Honestly, I figured if I'm ever gonna have to deal with this again, I don't want to have to, you know, do anything like dropping the tranny or like that. So I just figured I'd drill some holes. If I had something better, like a nice hole saw, I would have been able to just go at it once and just get a nice 2 holes. Unfortunately, I didn't have a hole saw on me, so I just went ahead and did a bunch of drilling here, but we will come back and clean this up. I just sprayed some paint on it to hopefully prevent it from rusting, but yeah, I'm gonna come back with a hole saw and we'll just make 2 nice holes, and at least we'll be able to get at these thing. Unfortunately, my brand new shifter, it got a little scuffed up meanwhile drilling, but honestly, I'd rather do this than have to potentially drop the tranny. Oh my god, I want to shift it. I haven't even shifted it. I think it's in gear right now. Oh yeah, that's got to be in gear. Let's see. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's neutral. Okay. So that's neutral. That feels so tight. Oh my god. All right, guys. So we have the shifter in. Shift knob on. Shift knob is on. We got the drive shaft in. Everything's bolted up, at least as well as we can right now. So I'm waiting on a hand, and as soon as I get a hand here, we'll bleed the clutch. Essentially, once I'm done bleeding the clutch, car's finished. All right, so we got the clutch finally bled. A couple friends came, we got it done, and yeah, basically moment of truth. So hopefully everything pays off, all this hard work. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start this up in the air and just make sure that the back tires, you know, roll, and hopefully that all of our work pays off. So let's go ahead and give it a go, moment of truth.
Rubbing a bit. We'll have to look up a video on that.
Okay, well, can they hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it, so.
Yeah, so if you guys can hear that noise, maybe go up there a little bit.
Let it out. I can hear it.
Okay, so I'm running into a slight issue here. Car starts. I got the drive shaft in, clutch bled. Now we're dealing with a little bit of noise when it's in neutral with the clutch out. So if we push the clutch in, it goes away. I'm gonna try and show you. finally, clutch is bled. We do have that noise still coming from the transmission. I believe that after reaching out to a couple people that I know and just kind of asking around, we think it's an input shaft bearing on the transmission. So from what I'm getting told, basically people are telling me just kind of send it, try and drive it, see if it'll work. One of my buddies said he's been drifting like that for over a year or a couple of years with this SR20. Has a similar noise, so we're gonna hope for the best. And if that's honestly the worst, I can kind of live with it. If the car still drives, slides, and doesn't break, I'll be happy. So right now is basically the first drive we're gonna get for this thing. I'm gonna hop in, we're gonna back it out. I'm just gonna see if we'll go forward and backwards and maybe take it around the block quick. Let's see.
It moved. Made it.
Come on, man. We're just gonna literally go around because I don't want to leave this open, but so yeah, there's that noise.
It's pretty faint.
Yeah, maybe with all the stuff on it,
You probably barely hear it with all the stuff on there.
because I have all the covers and everything.
And it is a $6 aftermarket. Is the flywheel aftermarket?
I'll research this. So there's this clunking. You hear that, right?
Like could be the bearing being loose. That hanger is not fully tight.
All right, guys, so great news. We just went for our first drive. You guys seen it, rolling forwards, rolling backwards, driving. We shifted through, well, I didn't get to fifth, but we shifted through all first, four gears and reverse. So we do know it works. And honestly, I just cannot wait till we take this out, maybe do a couple clutch kicks, couple donuts, and give it the real test, because we gotta make sure it works before we're planning to go to another event. This was a good experience, and we do have some stuff that we're gonna address probably in the future. We got a little bit of clunking and whining. That might be a transmission down the road. We'll find out. Honestly, I feel like right now we'll just drive it and kind of see where it takes us. And we're gonna wire up the reverse lights, wire up the parking switch, as well as the we have a speed sensor coming. So as soon as that gets here, we'll install that. And yeah, hopefully we have a working speedometer and everything. And we will have a nice manual S14. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I think I'm gonna close it out here. It was quite a long one, but hopefully you guys enjoyed, and there was a lot of information in there. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you guys can, like, comment, subscribe, and cheers. Thanks. Psych, I couldn't leave you guys hanging. I had to show you guys that this thing indeed worked, and all this work paid off. So I've been test driving this thing. Looks a little rough on this side, but yeah, we did drive it. It's a little loud. Okay, so we're gonna get a couple test hits out right now. We did a couple already just to make sure, but we'll show you what we can do. So, all right.